c'est d'avoir inversé la procédure en quelque sorte. Avant Winnie, on avait des groupes linéaires qui étaient traditionnellement uniques. Il suffit de regarder le traité de zoologie dirigé par Grasset en France.
So, this is JMC Studio Talk number 10, September the 2nd, part 2. In part 1, we ended part 1 in my garden with a catastrophe and also with a compensatory event or process, not to help repair directly this disorder, but to work in a balanced way. What I'm talking about is working on this Rembrandt painting, which has everything to do with order. I mean, if we're just talking about me and not the composition, not Rembrandt's intentions direct, which has nothing to do with the skill with which he painted. Anyway, so I was talking about twinship, and I thought, well, here you have a form, two paintings that were treated as relatives, same artist, same subject, so for all practical purposes iconographical twins. And once you know it, I happen to be a twin too. And I'm sure in detail we're as different as these two paintings are. But for all our differences, we still have these things that are analog, similar. There's the spiral staircase, there's a window, there's a table, there's an old man, an interior. All these are analogies or analogous. Between the two paintings. In the garden, I had come to this point where I came to this point, okay, form in its aspect as order. And I'd been trying to direct my thoughts towards beauty, the notion of beauty. And I'd already said, beauty is perceived order. And whether this order is regular, like, who knows, maybe women like men in uniform because of the regularity of the patterns on the uniform. How do you like that? So this thing, form is not just pattern, and I mean order is not just pattern, and form is just like such a strange word. It's the perceptible shape of something, let's say, the visually perceptible shape of things, form, when we talk about it. Okay, we could talk about tactile things as well, we can extend that to other senses, it's true, but form that has to do with looking, with vision. And I remember, if I remember correctly, in Latin, forma, I think, is an adjective that means pretty, but I'm not sure about this. And so, talking about beauty, which today, who talks about beauty in art? I mean, we're in the phase of a completely different form of beauty. This is the dynamic, the active part. Instead of flowing into a particular form that's easily identifiable, easily perceptible, there's just flow. And so we're in this thing where there's just flow, and it doesn't really matter how the story goes in the future as far as art is concerned, because it may be that art completely falls away as a category by virtue of the fact that so many people have access to putting things into form, like doing a video. So that's the beauty of it. It's a lot, it's abundant, it's very dynamic, and it's very alive. Okay, and if I'm talking about a Rembrandt painting, we're talking 400 years ago, and 400 years ago beauty was still appreciated because people didn't know much about the workings of the mind and how humans create patterns of living, of perception, of thinking, and so on. And so I'm in this this tension between 400 years ago, 17th century, the 21st century now, and I'm an artist. And I believe I'm this in the strongest sense of the word, insofar as the word has any meaning anymore. Like I said, maybe the future already happened and I didn't notice. But that might be part of what I'm trying to find out also in putting my thoughts into words like this, direct, thinking directly. And so I also said, as far as beauty is concerned, if we're in a, let's say, disordered phase, what counts is not order or the disorder, it's this movement, this tension between the two, and we call this life. This is what living is about. So, I guess, look for the tension. And this brings me to the point of attention, because just before making this video, I squatted here and Chendi came here after eating a little bit. So I thought, okay, let's do a little bit of observing. And I realized she was really very close to the edge. And she closed her eyes, made herself all fluffy, and squatted down a little bit. And it was like, I thought, well, okay, this may be a form of bonding. And then, what is it? It's this this acknowledgement of attention, and like a reciprocus. Sometimes attention is one-sided. They see you, you make a movement, they're afraid. And sometimes, like, it's reciprocal. And I mean, as human beings, we know this. It's actually called love, in terms of making the gift of attention. Mutual recognition, acknowledgement of being, materially, and with everything that that implies. Like, in this case, a mind. So I wonder how much time is left. Hey Winnie, well that's wonderful, about 3 minutes or so. Oh, it's a really sunny day. I'm going to go swimming. Cloudless sky, wonderful, wonderful. Although yesterday, clouded over at the swimming pool. Gucky, really gucky. Didn't rain, just clouded over, like smeared across the sky. And today, clouds, I went out to get some washing something to do the wash. And I looked at the sky, and there were these, these like plates with the waves in them, very clear, very, very clear. And in the other direction, there was a strange cloud forming, and you could kind of catch that there were 2 layers of air involved, or more layers of air and temperature, and this was really visible. You could really see the process of it, because a little part of it was really white and then less and less and less, but you could already see like the final shape it was going into. Order. The Germans say, just for the record, they say order is half of life, or half of life is order. Ordnung ist das halbe Leben. And so you can see what the problems you might have being German. Sorry guys. Winnie's very curious about the camera. She sees there's a tension. Hey Winnie. Oh no, she's in a coupling mode. She's very, what do you say? She's in heat again, or still, or... Yes, Winnie. I wish I could give you a partner, but the place would start getting really crowded. And it would be very live, there would be a lot of disorder, but who does the cleaning? I'm not there yet. By the way, I'm still talking in English to Brigitte today. Oh, look at this. Yeah. The rock looks like another being. Oh. And where the eye should be, she starts peeking away. I don't know if that was... So I was wrong about that. Winnie, nobody's gonna come.